Federal Executive MP Natasha Mazzone. Thank you for being with us, Ms. Mazzone. Can I ask you to first respond to what she's saying, that this is another shortcut? You've revoked her membership because you want to prevent her from going through a formal public process to clear her name, which the DA has smeared.
It's certainly not a shortcut. It was a most unfortunate event when Patricia de Lille declared her intention to resign from the Democratic Alliance on the Eusebius McKaiser show on 702. The Federal Legal Commission of the Democratic Alliance has listened very carefully to the podcast as well as the transcripts that we received from 702 regarding this interview, and they have found that in fact Patricia de Lille's membership ceased in terms of our Constitution, section 2.5.3.1, which clearly states that any member ceases to be a member should they make their intention to resign known or should they actually resign publicly, and that is exactly what Patricia de Lille did.
It does seem clear the party does not want her in the fold, so you're not using this clause in the Constitution opportunistically?
Certainly not. The DA has taken every measure possible to go through a mediation process with Patricia de Lille. We have tried to have meetings with Patricia de Lille. We instituted a disciplinary hearing against Patricia de Lille, which many points in limine were raised by Ms. de Lille, which in turn made the process very protracted and prolonged. This has caused a lot of confusion in the public because the DA was not at liberty to release the documents because Patricia de Lille at the time was a member of the DA, and we offer members of the DA certain privileges in terms of their disciplinary hearing, keeping things confidential. And Mayor de Lille at the time, when she was still mayor, chose to go on the Eusebius McKaiser show and publicly declare her intention to resign.
Given the public perception right now, Ms. Mazzone, why does the DA not actually want to keep her in the fold to go through a very public process? Because surely that won't only help her, she says that way she can clear her name, but it'll also help the DA to prove that it has a case against her.
You see, one of the things that the DA stands for, and it's primarily what we stand for, is accountability and good governance. And if we want the ANC to take this accountability seriously, as we've done in the past and certainly in the state capture hearings, certainly we must begin at home. And the slightest hint of any wrongdoing, any form of corruption, any form of maladministration is taken very seriously by the Democratic Alliance. It's one of the reasons that we are the only political party that has an accountability clause in our Constitution, so that we can ensure that we do hold our executive members to account. Now that Patricia de Lille is no longer a member of the Democratic Alliance, we are able to release certain documents that are legally permissible to be released, which we have done this morning, which include her charge sheet and certain other documents. So it will be made known to the public exactly what the charges were and what led up to the disciplinary cases, as well as the Auditor General's report.
So do you believe you can convince the South African public convincingly that you do have a case against her then once those docs have been released? And I ask you because I don't have a scientific gauge of public perception. We're just running a poll tonight. Has the DA scored an own goal with the de Lille affair? And 84% of people are saying yes. She again called the party a bunch of bullies today. Has the party not left itself open to that?
It is undoubtable that this issue has caused us massive reputational damage, and we are the first ones to admit that. It is going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication to prove to the people of Cape Town that we are serious about our government and we are serious about accountability. I do think that a lot more light will be shed once we have released these documents, because the people of Cape Town have been kept in the dark due to legal processes, and these documents will certainly shed a lot of light on the issue. I also think that once we have a stable government in the city of Cape Town and that we maintain our excellent service delivery record, we will be able to regain the trust of Cape Townians. But our primary goal at the moment is to regain the trust and confidence of the people of Cape Town, who we know have been severely hindered by these events in the Democratic Alliance.
So then for the people who are skeptical, who want to know that the DA is at least fair with its own members, can you tell us what has she done that is so bad?
There are various charges that have been brought against Mayor de Lille that include maladministration, tender irregularities, alleged issues of nepotism, alleged reports that issues that were supposed to come to council for consideration were ignored, disciplinary hearings that weren't allowed to proceed, bullying amongst the councillors who tried to bring certain issues to the mayor's attention. There's a variation of charges that have been laid. Also, the Auditor General's report made damning findings against the city, which we in the Democratic Alliance find unacceptable. It's the first time that we haven't received a clean audit, which is incredibly worrying. And these are all issues that led to the initial disciplinary charges being laid by the Democratic Alliance.
Are you worried about the upcoming court cases? She's taking you to court about this issue. It's dragging on. She says she's also laying charges of crimen injuria against various DA members and everyone who passed on the fake document, including MPs and councillors.
I think that Patricia de Lille has every right to go to court. It's one of our fundamental rights as South Africans, is that we have a free jurisdiction, and we're allowed to go to court whenever we feel necessary. I'm confident that the court will see the Democratic Alliance's constitution as being a fair document. We have rights of association in our country, and every DA public representative signs a code of conduct when they join the Democratic Alliance, which means that you adhere to the constitution of the DA. So everyone knows what is stated in that constitution and what is required of us. When it comes to the fake document that did the rounds, it's terribly unfortunate, and we were the first ones to admit that it was very unfortunate that that post was ever shared by the two members of parliament. It is unfortunate that we live in a society that fake news is doing the circulations, and I think that we must be very careful in future to make sure that fake news doesn't make it onto these kind of platforms.
What's the situation now in Cape Town? Is she de facto no longer mayor? You've outlined plans for the deputy mayor to step up, but do opposition parties have a say in what happens now?
Patricia de Lille, as it stands at the moment, is no longer a member of the Democratic Alliance, and therefore she's no longer a member of the City Council of Cape Town, because the way South African government works is you are a member of a party and thus you're a member of the council. So Patricia de Lille is no longer the mayor. You had an interview with Ian Nielsen earlier. According to the Structures Act, Ian Nielsen steps in as the deputy executive mayor and has all the powers that a mayor has in the interim while we wait to elect the new mayor. So the city will run accordingly, and no services or anything to do with the city will be interrupted by this happening. So service delivery will continue as normal, and that's the process is where we are now.
Before I let you go, Ms. Mazzone, just final question. We were talking about the poll, the perception that the DA is scoring an own goal. Has this gotten out of hand from your perspective? Has this become so much bigger than the party could ever have imagined?
As I said before, the reputational damage is huge. It's done a massive amount of damage to our party, and it's going to take a lot of work to rebuild the trust of the Cape Townians and the country as a whole. But we are the party for accountability, and I think it's important to note that we were willing to risk our reputation to make sure that we hold our own executives to account, because if we can't hold our own to account, we have no right to criticize other parties who don't hold their executives to account.
All right, thank you very much. Natasha Mazzone, MP and a member of the DA's Federal Executive, live from our Sea Point studio tonight.